Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Nerdworks. I'm Alexander McCauley and I will be walking you through a step-by-step assembly of a do-it-yourself CNC machine. Actually, I'm going to say it's a modular a modular manufacturing unit. We're going to be using salvaged wood, 1/4 inch threaded rod, and steel rod. Stepper motors and 1/4 inch joiners and 1/4 inch nuts to for the motorized part of the assembly and the runners. We're also going to be using, where did I put those? Let it go. Let it go, Alex. We're going to be using motor drivers and an Arduino board as the control circuit. Right now, I don't know what I did with oh, there they are. These are the motor drivers. I ordered some I think these were 660s. Anyway, I'll for all the materials that I use, I'll put a I'll put together a parts list in the description with the parts list with description and links to available parts for assembly. Right now we're going to start assembly, which comprises a frame built from salvaged wood and 2 boxes for the control, the motors. So I will see you a little later. So now I'm going to start marking the wood, the salvaged wood, so that I can cut it to a standard length to get to start making the control boxes on the deck of the manufacturing unit. And for right now, we're just going to do that this way. Took me a few days to actually want to start this because I am not I don't have a formal education in engineering or anything else. I've been studying it for the last 7 years on my own time, but you never know what to expect when you're posting something to YouTube, when you're posting it as fairly well a self-taught, self-educated person. Anyway, found myself needing a manufacturing unit like this a few weeks ago because of an idea I came up with, and obviously needed something to make it with. I decided to make this one. I'm altering a plan from that I found on Instructables.com. I will probably place a link of that Instructable down in the description as well, so that you can access the original Instructable if my video isn't that clear. Got something going on with the light as far as flickering is concerned, and sometimes also, instead of the salvaged wood, the original was made of plywood, 1/4 inch. I'm marking these to a standard length right now so that I can go and cut them on a miter saw I've got access to. You say to me, why are you cutting them to the shorter ones? Because, well, actually, I'm wondering why I am cutting them to the shorter ones. But it's because I'm trying to get it so that each of these are exactly the same length. Anyway, until recently I didn't have enough time to get this done. I work about 5 jobs to support these technical ventures. Actually, part of the 5 jobs is the technical ventures. Anyway, after the country shut down during the outbreak of the sheeple virus, basically everyone believing they were going to die from the flu in 2020, actually perpetrated by the Democrat Congress and the Communist Chinese, we find ourselves pretty much with a lot of time on our hands. unfortunately, I cobbled together most of these parts before the quote-unquote quarantine started, when I had money. For the last 1.5 years, I've been trying to do some things that that give me an advantage toward being able to make my own stuff from scratch. But it's one of the things about me is I like to be able to do stuff for myself rather than rely on other people. Unfortunately, the last 2 years I haven't been able to do as much on that because of bureaucratic technicalities that I didn't realize had caught up with me, aka I had a problem with my taxes. Evidently, 2015 I hadn't declared a 1099 for my business, and between that time and last year, interest piled up. It wasn't that convenient, to tell you, to say the least. Anyway, so now that I've got these marked, these all have known screws in them. So I am going to put these together into 2 boxes and then cut the members to length on a chop saw. I'm going to be using a Black & Decker corded saw. You can use just about anything you've got in the workshop if you're handy and do projects like this to put these together. I'm going to be using a T25 Torx bit in my drill. All of the screws I'm using to assemble this have been salvaged from other projects on an RV park that I do contract labor for. Beautiful place. Excellent. Excellent place to go and take your vacations at once this quarantine lifts. It's a little place called, what is it? Musicland Campground. You basically put these together in a format. So similar to this. Alright. Yeah, I'm just going to do 3 sides on these. I'll need the 4th. It doesn't look like. Oh, okay, good. Looks like I can do the 4th. I'm just going to have to do it a little differently than the guy who put this together before me. What's really interesting about this, I found out earlier this week, is if you got one of these, you can actually take advantage of the market in stuff like things like P90 masks with a 3D printing head. So anybody who is interested in cutting in on the Chinese market in P90 masks, if they build one of these, they can do it. Of course, don't tell them I told you that, because they sort of did this whole thing to try and corner the market on manufacture of medical supplies like those masks. Okay, we're almost done with the first one. Alright. this, I'm going to turn off the camera and finish up the last one and get these things trimmed up on the miter saw. So they're nice and finished. Yeah, someone asked me why I was doing one with such large dimensions on the bed, and I said, because I'm planning on doing some large projects. You ask me what kind of large projects. They're going to be somewhere in the field of automotive or another interest. Some of them we'll be covering during this season of the Nerdworks. I'll be walking you through them step by step. However, here's my disclaimer. If you choose to follow my step-by-step instructions on any of these projects, and you hurt yourself doing it, it's not my problem. It's your problem. I will not be doing anything to compensate for injuries because of your own stupidity. So with that being said, be careful if you are going to follow me on this, and I will see you when I'm finished with the rest of it. Or with the other box. So, our holes for our motor shafts are going to be about a 1/2 inch because of this little joiner that we use to connect the shaft to the motor. So we're going to drill a 1/2 inch hole for this end of the shaft. This end is probably also going to be a 1/2 inch because we have to put a bearing in. That's about it's a 1/4 inch. The bearings are a 1/4 inch on this side. For the to accommodate the shaft. So, 1/2 inch hole drilled on both sides. So, we're going to be using a 9/16 inch paddle bit to drill our holes. Make sure to only drill the one hole all the way through and the other hole as far through the board as will accommodate this. The bearing. We will be measuring halfway on our blocks. We're at 22 inches, so 11 inches
on both should have our motor just about right. Now we are 5 inches, so 2.5 should be exactly where we cut or drill, rather. Okay, same down here. We go to 2.5 inches. Now we can drill. I'll replace this bit with the paddle bit that we selected. 9/16. All the way through one. And part of the way through the other. One of my favorite things about the free enterprise system is as long as you're willing to put in the work, you can do just about anything. Other systems don't give you that opportunity. Now this is what really, it's really fortunate this happened, because it shows us the adaptability of these things. As long as we, sometimes we have to re-drill the hole. Nope, not going to do it with that one. It's too big. But well, we're missing one. Okay. I've got a paddle bit over here floating around somewhere. Oh crap, can't be losing my bearings. Anyway, we'll just wedge it in there some way. Anyway. Go ahead and get the motor in this one. In order to do that, we're going to put the the Torx bit back in. And remove this board. Place that through there. Not until we have installed the threaded rod. Take the Allen wrench that went with your joiners. Go ahead and cinch it up nice and tight. That's not going anywhere. That in there. Now, the sheer fit of the motor into this box should keep it from revolving, or before I do anything, I'm going to release the rest of this